everyone and welcome back to my channel. I'm Amy. Today I'm going to be doing a book review. Now this will be my first book review, so please leave your comments and critiques and whatnot down below. I want to hear your feedback and what you think I could do better or what you liked, etc, etc. So let's go ahead and get into it. The book I will be reviewing today is A Man Called Ove by Fredrik Backman. This is a story about a gentleman that goes by the name of Ove. He's 59 and he's kind of come to a point in his life where he's not sure what he should be doing anymore, and he's grumpy and he's grouchy and he doesn't want to be around people. He just wants to be left alone and have nothing to do with the world and where it's currently headed. And unfortunately for him, when he has new neighbors move in next door, that is no longer possible for him, and they kind of just upend his life and get all the other neighbors around involved into his life. And this book talks about how he develops relationships with them and the way they kind of upend his life, and it's a wonderful, heartwarming story that I absolutely adored. Right off the top, I will tell you I gave this book 5 out of 5 stars. It is one of 2 books this year that I've given 5 out of 5 stars to, and I think it earns every one of them. If Goodreads had higher ratings, I would have given it that. I laughed when I read this book, I cried when I read this book, and I know I'm gonna come back and read it again and again and again, because it's just one of those stories that there's just so much depth and dimension to it, and so many things that the author talks about that it makes you think, and you like that you're thinking about it. This book talks about grief and loss, and it talks about new life and where you come from and how it's created you to be the person you are today, and the ways in which what happens in our lives affect the decisions that we make and how we react to the world around us. And there's so many things going on in this story with such a simple plot as something such as Ove getting to know his neighbors even though he doesn't want to. There are so many things that are touched upon that they're just done in a way that it's simple and quiet but profound and important. And you learn throughout this book, you learn about how Ove became Ove. So every few chapters you'll kind of go back in time and you'll learn how he was when he was a child, and when he met his wife, and how his relationship was with his boss, and all of these other things that kind of just compile to make Ove who he is. And Ove is just this man who he is what he does. It's not what he says or who he's with or who he's talking to. It's through his actions that he thinks is what makes him a valuable person. And when certain things happen in the book that make it so that he can't do some things, he reacts in ways that only he feels like will make a difference. And he can be grouchy and stubborn and angry even at times. And then other times there's such a sadness when Backman talks about Ove that you can't help but relate to how Ove is feeling in that moment, and you just kind of want to reach out and like be with him, even though kind of the quintessential part of Ove is that he doesn't want that. He doesn't want that connection. He feels like his connections in life are gone and he's ready to move on. And this story just kind of is about second chances and trusting yourself to still have value when you may be questioning that. And Fredrik Backman's writing style is phenomenal. It's simple, like I said, and it speaks to you in ways that I've had very few books speak to me. I feel like anyone could read this. It's not dense or difficult to read in the sense of the writing itself, and it just flows in a way that you're constantly turning pages. I wouldn't say this is a book that's a page turner in the sense that you want to know what's going to happen next, but your connection to Ove and what's happening to him and the decisions that he's making, just, it keeps you hooked. Like you want to know more about him because you relate to him in so many ways. And I think you can relate to him no matter how old you are. I think you could be 16 and read this book and learn things about it. I think you could be Ove's age at 59 or my age in my 20s, and any point in your life, I think someone's gonna find something of value in this book, and I could not recommend it enough to anyone. I adored it. It just, like I said, it made me so happy, but also so sad simultaneously. But the sad was just, it was a kind of sad that made you happy that you were feeling something, and that someone was making a commentary on something that is hard to talk about. Grief and loss and where your life ended up, even though you didn't intend for it to, are all really hard things to talk about. But Bachman does it in a way that's super accessible, and he does it through a lens of humor too. Like, I'm laughing throughout reading this, and I think of different moments that happen in this book and I laugh again, even though it's not sitting in front of me. So I think that says something, and this book has just stayed with me for so long, and I don't think that's gonna change. And I cannot recommend this book enough. I think it's wonderful. So as you guys can tell, I absolutely adored this book. Like I said, please let me know what you thought of this video. Good, bad, yes, no, etc., etc. I love your feedback. It helps me immensely. And if you're interested in a book discussion about A Man Called Ove, please let me know. I would love to do a video chatting about the little nuances and moments in the book for people who have read it, and we can discuss all of our favorite parts and characters, etc., etc. So if you liked this video, please like it, and if you loved it, please subscribe, and I will see you next time. Happy reading!